Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, Sunny and Dante is pretty much a continuation of yesterday's conversation. And the way I look at this, well, one, Dante is literally done. Okay, he's literally like, I'm not covering for you anymore. I'm done. I've reached my limit with you. You need to leave Dex alone. Otherwise, it's just going to end badly for you. Now, Sonny, not being on his meds, being paranoid, just takes the conversation, takes the advice left and being like, so you think I'm some sort of punk or whatever? I'm just gonna run and hide from him? And Dante's like, that's not even remotely what I just said. But, Sonny looks at that just as another betrayal. He winds up leaving. He goes to Ava, tells Ava about this whole thing, right? About practically just losing his daughter because of what wound up happening. Now, while he's there talking about Dex and everything like that, like, oh, he was supposed to be there. He kept taunting me, and she was like, yeah, why would he actually be there? I'm just like the whole time I'm like, let me get this straight. You see what this man's going through off his meds, right? Now, one, you're a shitty person. Let's just keep this 100. You are a shitty person at this point because you know that he's losing his daughter because of what he's doing because he's not on his meds. And you're just looking this man in the face and just being like, yep, I'm just about to get what I want. So that's number one. Number two, this doesn't even serve you well because now he's being sloppy and reckless. Like, it benefits her for him not to be on his meds because it ingraces herself easier into Sunny's life. She wants to be that chick. She wants to sit there and be in this inner circle and everything. But how does that serve her if he's in jail or dead because of the reckless decisions that he's making not being on his meds? So I'm just like, what the hell are you writing Ava at this? Why are you writing her like this for? This isn't even self-serving. On top of the fact that she just comes across as a garbage human being at this point. Um, so Michael pretty much tells Dex not to press charges on Sonny because, it will cause stress to Christina and the baby. And I'm like, that's such a shitty excuse. If we're gonna be honest, that's such a shitty excuse. Listen, this is not the first time in history that the cops had to sit there and question a pregnant woman or, have a pregnant woman testify in court, whatever the situation is. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing and know how to handle it. So this whole, oh, we can't do it because of the baby. Nah. That's a sad ass excuse at that point. And at first Dex is like, well, what should I do, Josh? Why are you asking her what you should do? You don't have a brain at this point? You know the difference between right and wrong, right? I mean, he did sit there and say at some point, well, what about me? What about what I want? Then you're just gonna go and ask her? And Josh is like, at first she was like, listen, I'm tired of sitting there telling people what to do, giving them ultimatums. Doesn't really work out in my experience, so I'm not gonna do it. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, yeah, you shouldn't testify because you'll feel bad if it causes stress to Christina and the baby. Hey, oh, yep, that happened. And then Josh and Michael go to the coffee house. They talk about how, he pretty much talked about the wedding and how Sonny used to be when he was around the family and everything and being like, that's the guy that I know. And Josh was like, yeah, that's who that's who I used to sit there and kind of admire too growing up. But then they get into a conversation about Dex, right? And he's like, y'all two are about together. And she's like, no, we're not. I'm not really too sure what I want to do. I don't want to sit there and be like my mom going back and forth with Sunny and stuff like that. Um, she's like, I'm not too sure if I'm ready to be with him. But then she does sit there and say that he's changed changed his career path pretty much. Like he's changed his life. He's turned his life around. So I'm just like, well, no one's perfect, Josh. And like you said, he's changing his life around. You didn't like what he was doing, which is why you broke up with him. Okay, well, he's not doing it anymore. So what's the excuse? What's the problem? I don't understand. And she does sit there and say maybe he should be with somebody else who is going to accept him and things of that nature. I'm just like, yeah, maybe he should. I mean, if he's changing his life around and that was the problem, and you're still there saying, well, I don't know if I'm ready, why should he have to sit there? Why should he have to sit there and wait around? So Finn has a very difficult conversation with Violet about Gregory's death. And at some point, Liz comes over. Liz looks around, sees that he's been drinking, tells Violet to go in the room and make a friendship bracelet or something. And then is like, hey, listen, I'll take Violet. You go to a meeting. He gets super defensive. He's like, that's not happening. And he talks about, his dad died. He wants to numb the pain. I'm allowed to sit there and numb the pain the way I see fit. It's like, okay, cool. So you can do that, and that's all good and well. I mean, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good idea, but we're not doing that while she's here. So she's going to come with me, which I completely 100% support. And I was like, yeah, you can't stop somebody from drinking, but you can't sit there and put your little girl in that situation either. And eventually, Chase and Brooklyn tell Lois and Ned. So I guess the next person, probably maybe tomorrow, is Tracy. I didn't get a chance to watch the previews. I'll probably watch it a little bit after. Um, the hell else wound up happening? Oh, so Christina and Blaze is just talking about Sunny, and she feels kind of bad for asking Michael to step in and help Sunny out, and also, what would that do to her? She has to sit there and testify. And Dex comes over, and she does sit there and say to Dex, "Hey, listen, if you want to sit there and press charges, I'll testify." Hell, even Dex before when he was talking to Michael, he was like, "Okay, what happens if you know I don't testify?" And then he does it to somebody else. Like, this is our chance to sit there and stop him. Like, I came to Port Charles literally for this reason. Now, while this whole thing is playing out, let's just keep a couple of things in mind when he does have to sit there and testify. He put his hands on him first, so that's always going to be looked at as self-defense. Now, the threatenings and everything like that, Diane could sit there and work her magic. And bottom line is, you know, well, I still do think that's a BS excuse as far as Dex not pressing charges. It's not going to really matter because any halfway decent attorney could sit there and argue that, and Sonny would just want to go free. And then you'd just be putting Christina through unnecessariness, and in the end, he's just going to get off anyway. Just throwing that out there as well. Now, Alexis and Diane eventually go to the hearing, and they come up against Neil's brother. You know, the guy who used to sit there and be Xander's, I think Xander's father, Cameron, I think. And so Diane is there fighting for for um for Alexis. This guy, whoever this guy's name is that I can't remember, and it'll probably come to me later on, is fighting against. Now Diane is like, hey, listen, that's the brother. Like, that's a conflict of interest right there. But Alexis is like, no, let him stay. I want to sit there and prove my case. And I think, in a way, it might be actually like, I guess you can kind of look at it and be like, hey, listen, if I can sit there and win against him, then I definitely deserve to get my license back. You know, seeing how he was affected um, by her choices. And in our reality, the way I look at this is Neil was a grown adult. He made his decisions. That's the bottom line. We're not going to sit there and play, well, you know, she didn't do this and she didn't influence that. No, he's a grown ass adult. He makes his own choices. Get therapy at that point. If you can't sit there and find ways to work through that. But clearly blaming her for Neil's choices is well, it's not right. There's probably a better word. I just can't think of it, but yeah, it's not right. I think that's about it. Yeah, I feel like that's about it. If I forgot anything, write it down in the comment section below. Also, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and the Restless, and I will see you in the next video.